Am I hearing you correctly that your conclusion, as somebody whose PhD focused on morphine, as somebody who was the head of respiratory illnesses for Pfizer globally, and therefore has that respiratory expertise, having looked at Stuart Wilkie's evidence on midazolam, that your personal conclusion is that the state deliberately put people on midazolam and morphine for the purposes of terminating their lives?
Yes, there's no question. They use doses. Well, neither of those drugs would ever be appropriate in an open airway breathing patient. So if someone arrives and they're able to breathe, even if they're breathless, you would not repress their respiration, which midazolam and morphine would do. And also, per many bits of information that Stuart Wilkie was able to show us, the doses that were used were between 3 and 5 times the recommended initial starting doses. So I wrote them down and I went back to look at my clinical pharmacology books. Indeed, those are doses that you would expect would lead to a fading away of people, certainly if they were given repeatedly day after day. So I personally am convinced that the excess deaths in care homes is explained by this procedure substantially. I think we're looking at 6 figures, over 100,000 people easily. In terms of excess deaths at home, a much larger number of people died at home than normal. We're a society where most people die in hospital. That's not true in every country, and it's not true. It wasn't true in the past, where often patients would pass away, in the care of their family. But more people died at home in the last couple of years than usual because they were told to stay away from hospital. And I think some of those people died of conditions from which they could have been rescued. I say this by analogy from America, where it has been discovered that prescriptions for antibiotics for chest infections were halved in the first half of 2020. So I think people died alone of conditions that they could have been treated for. Often these were people who are not elderly, like 40 to 60.